Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning I want to talk to you about savings. So savings is the theme for the month and this is part one. Let's jump right into it. So this month's theme is on savings. Savings is so important in building a strategic plan for your finances, building margin into your personal finances. And today I want to inspire you. My goal is to inspire you to put away a little bit more money into savings in times such as these. So we'll be going through some statistics. We'll be going through some goals around savings and why it's important to save and how you can go about doing so. So in this day and age, it's easy to spend. It's so easy to spend through so many different avenues, so many different platforms, but it is a lot more difficult to save. And I say that because there's a barrier to entry to saving because of all the different things that we could potentially put our incomes toward. And in this world with the impact of instant gratification and immediately being able to enjoy those products or those services that we can get our hands on, it can be challenging to go against the grain and to be actually putting away money for saving for a rainy day fund or for retirement. So that's why it's important to actually have this topic, have this conversation on saving money for the future. So in this day and age, it's so easy to get a loan for just about anything. And anything under the sun that you can think of, most likely there's a loan or a product for that. And that's why I started out the year with the theme of credit cards and unsecured loans and fulfilling lifestyle creep through our overconsumption. But although I understand the challenges that come with that money burning a hole in your pocket, it's so important, especially in uncertain times, to have a plan for your money, have a plan for your savings, so that you're not burning that hole in the pocket by spending that money that should be allocated to some kind of savings. So there are a myriad of reasons for you to save. It may be for a lifestyle you want to lead in the future. It may be for retirement savings to be able to retire at a certain season or a certain age or so on and so forth. It may also be just to build margin for options. And with that, it's important for you to have a why. Have a why for why you want to save money, because it's going to prevail in the time when it's so easy to spend that savings on something that comes up and catches your eye. So we have a tendency to have very little margin between what we bring in and what is paid out for various purchases. And with that, oftentimes it leads people to not save very much because everything that comes in is going right back out the door. And so what you want to do is, even though there is a tendency to want to spend everything that's coming in, it's important for you to set aside a certain percentage that you are going to commit to in saving for the future, for whatever that why is. So in the most recent report by the Federal Reserve of St. Louis, it outlined that our savings rate had an average of 13.7% in December. Now that's the most recent report, but basically that is 20% off of the peak that we saw in April of 2020. So the peak was at 33.7%. And with that, it's important to look at, okay, well, why is our savings rate declining? That could be attributed to a number of different factors. So this personal savings rate is a percentage of your disposable income. So this amount doesn't necessarily mean that people are actually putting that amount directly into a savings account. Now, it could go into the markets, it could go into a savings account, or it could go into even a purchase of a primary residence. So that savings savings rate could be just directly reinvested. That doesn't mean that people are actually sitting on those cash reserves, as they could be attributed to other purposes. Now, that prior spike in April of 2020, leading into the heightened levels of savings that we're seeing in the most recent report that was released, begs the question of, okay, well, if we are saving so much more than we typically have historically, what is that attributed to? Is it the rent moratoriums? Is it the deferrals with the student loans? Is it the mortgage forbearance, or maybe the stimulus? What could this be attributed to? And I think for many Americans, it's attributed to multiple aspects. It may be spending less in the stores, in the retail stores that we would frequent otherwise. It may be the fact that we're cooking at home more, or commuting less, or maybe even traveling less. It could be attributed to so many different factors. But nonetheless, it's important to look at, okay, if this savings rate is higher and people are spending less, why are they spending less? Especially when this is the average. This is the average individual spending. So the National Bureau of Economic Research basically came out and stated that mid-2020, we officially entered into a recession. So they responded quicker than they normally do. Usually it takes about 9 months for the research firms to basically state that officially the United States is in a recession. So with that was a response to the fact that GDP was plummeting, that unemployment was skyrocketing, and general activity in the economy was slowing. And so with that, oftentimes that word, that recession word, or even the sense that a recession's coming, will cause people to respond very emotionally. And so oftentimes they'll hunker down, they'll save more, they won't spend. And when they don't spend, it ends up causing a ripple effect in the economy, because that spending is someone else's income. So in the economy, we can see these various sectors who have fared well, who have done really well during the last year and everything that has transpired. We've also seen those sectors that have been hit heavily. And with that, you can see some aspects where spending has dried up, and therefore, as people are not spending more, they're saving in that area, but they may be spending more in other areas. And that's why it's so hard to accurately pinpoint when we officially go into a recession. So some of these sectors that we have seen pent-up demand for during this time have been aspects like housing. Housing starts when it comes to remodels and home improvement, as well as furnishings and appliances, in addition to vehicles, surprisingly enough. But we've seen in this time, certain industries do really well, or at least recover very well. Meanwhile, others, maybe like the restaurant industry and any indoor gaming places like casinos and places like that have to basically shutter their doors, or at least close down for an extended period of time. If this information is helpful to you, explore the Margin membership, where me and my team will help you take the information you're learning and apply it to your life and your finances. I've built an interactive course that allows me and my team to come alongside people like you to help you revamp your finances and build margin into your life. Click the link in the description below for more information.